Also this week, darlings, in the Headley highlight shows Royal Corner, Duchess Doolittle was seen in green. That rhymes. Duchess Doolittle was seen in green at a scene in Oxford. So once again, we have the Doolittle Duchess dressed in green. She wore this outfit previously. It's the David Beckham one. She's drowned by the trousers with that mush colour, resembling bile. She's waving and trying to look useful, showing us that the culmination of her intellect around early years can be summoned with her co-authoring of this rather vapid, recycled knowledge, using mainly ChatGPT prompts, essay that she apparently co-authored. So she stepped out in Oxford, as I said, in the bile-coloured pea green outfit, resembling the jealousy that resides bubbling daily in her husband's heart about his brother, where once again she was at a follow fashion I'm trying to be like the Sussex event around child development, children's mental health. As it was World Mental Health Day, it was a Friday, and let's know she does not work on Fridays or any other days of the week if it can be organised. This 30-minute event, the actual time she was present at this exercise, visiting Home Start, her foundation apparently, let's not forget, had the Explainer series, which nobody watched anyway, in relation to young people. She was pictured with the obligatory minorities and hijab-wearing employees. Fake smiles, fake trestles. Don't forget she went to the Peckham aunties for that hair that they bought at Pack. And a collection of pictures where she has hand gestures and what appears to be children's toys for making a felt garden were publicised. Then, darlings, in addition to this groundbreaking work, the BBC wrote an article about her and her co-authoring this really important discovery that you need to go outside more and maybe put down the telephone and not stare at screens all day. So entering stage left this week's contender for Sycophant of the Week. This week's contender is Sean Colohan from the BBC, the royal correspondent, no doubt. Come in, Sean, darling. You are a contender this week for Sycophant of the Week. Take a seat. You're in excellent company, darling. So this week, the reason that Sean Colligan is the contender for Sycophant of the Week is because the BBC, which is the British Broadcasting Corporation, a arm of the institution, is not interested in bringing you news. They are interested in bringing you PR exercises dressed up as journalism, otherwise known as propaganda. Mr. Colligan writes, Kate warns, too much screen time damages family life. We are not taking any lectures from this family on family life whatsoever. And Mr. Colligan's deference is on display even in that title. The early framing of the Doolittle Duchess as an authority, something that we should all be following, didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Colligan writes, the Princess of Wales warned that an overload of smartphones and computer screens is creating an epidemic of disconnection. Even that disrupts family life. Can you believe her talking about disconnection? How disconnected are you from the public? How disconnected are you and the rest of that collection of leeches from reality? First of all, he frames her as a sage, some sort of, and as an authority. He said we need to heed her warning. Really, is she an emergency service? Does she give warnings that people need to pay attention to? The language that he's using to discuss what she's saying is deferential beyond recognition. There's no evidence to her warning. It's just something she's thought about. She just thunk it up, allegedly. I don't think she thunk anything. I think the whole thing came from ChatGPT. But the point is, the way he's articulating it is that she is almost qualified to give us warnings. There's no evidence of her qualification for anything. Like I said, she turns up in these rather terrible looking outfits at events, parroting, repeated information. Nothing is fresh. A Google search could have done what she's sharing in terms of, expertise. There is none. He continues. While digital devices promise to keep us connected, they frequently do the opposite. Catherine has written about this in an essay in collaboration with Professor Robert Waldinger from Harvard Medical School. So they're trying to pitch her contribution next to someone who is actually academic, unlike herself. Like I said, she ain't got two brain cells in there whatsoever, apart from climbing the social ladder. That's the only, that's how the frontal lobes work. But other than that, she's not really functioning on any particular level about anything. So pitching her to someone with some kind of academic legitimacy is some way of giving what she's saying cogency. This is the sycophantry that we are often subjected to when we see commentary people. He continues, Catherine says smartphones and gadgets have become a constant distraction, fragmenting our focus and undermining time that the family spend together. Contradiction in terms. Her entire family's public image relies on the global media and carefully staged pictures. She's desperate for people to be using their smartphones because, let's face it, otherwise no one else is interested in what she's doing because she doesn't feature on any publications. No one's buying her in the printed press. It's only with the digital media that she has any cogency. So she's telling people, look, stop looking at your smartphones, listen to me, when in fact they and her and the rest of that ilk rely on smartphones, rely on screen time so they can have any relevancy in the beginning. So that's just contradictory to say, the least. And once again, no critical thinking on behalf of Mr. Colligan. He then goes on to quote sections of the essay. We're physically present but mentally absent. You were always mentally absent, my G. Yeah, you was never physically present nowhere. As far as everyone's concerned, you are vacuous as a balloon. Slightly coloured on the outside, but in there it's just empty air and it goes poof once pricked. She continues, or should I say he continues to quote her, we're physically present but mentally absent, unable to fully engage with people right in front of us. And they're trying to play on this issue of, not this issue, but this idea that she's the mother of the nation, some kind of archetype, a visual image of nationalism that we should support because she's talking about the family and she's talking about family life, which is the usual space in culture for women to occupy. They try to portray her as some kind of, political actor, as opposed to this person who essentially enjoys a life of complete avarice and no work for it. We now have someone in the Green Party saying that we need to have a wealth tax. Let's hope that Jack Polanski also taps this family because they can pay for huge amounts of things based on their stolen wealth. In her essay, he writes, she warns of the power of human connection in a distracted world. Oh, she didn't even make that up. That social trends are going in the opposite direction. This is at the same time they are moving people off of the land in Forest Lodge. He's writing this article whilst they're in the process of moving people off the land in Forest Lodge, and they're talking about distraction and moving people. We're living in a lonely world and we're living isolated lives while they're doing exactly that in Forest Lodge. But of course, Mr. Colligan doesn't make any reference to that. No, his whole exercise here is imperial propaganda, and he wants to cast the royal family as a moral guardian that we need to preserve with all of these myths, when in fact they are nothing of the above. Their greed, their continued wealth, their continued sucking the life out of the nation because of all of the systems that they support and employ is never critiqued in this article. The article reads like a sermon. He doesn't offer any reflection on how the households themselves are mediated by, public relations. All he does is place the message there that she is an important person that we need to listen to about family life. Whilst also forgetting that the people in her family, half of them, especially the Yorks, are a basket of deplorables. So for writing that propaganda piece, Mr. Colligan, you know what that is. You get Sycophant of the Week. You've removed your frontal lobes, critical thinking, and you're on your knees, man. Get up. You're such a brown noser. It's embarrassing. Sean Cohen, Sycophant of the Week, royal correspondent for the BBC. I know I'm going to come across you, and I will be enjoying tearing the stripes off you as usual.